Get ready, boys.
Hi. They won because they played at home. And apparently that's the formula. And it's working so far, but there's lots to go. We got the Christmas tree up. Let's get it started. DLS, Dallas Stars post-game show after a 6-2 win over the Flames. Just what the doctor ordered after 2 consecutive losses on the road, a home game and a home stand. This is the DLS Dallas Stars post-game show alongside Craig Ludwig, our producer John Anderson, and a little later joining us will be Sam Nestler. I'm Owen Newkirk. 6-2. The Stars beat the Flames tonight. They win the third period, and they win the hockey game.
Home is a safe zone.
Good. Boy, is it ever. They are a whopping 11-2 at American Airlines Center and a bit of an underwhelming 6-8 on the road.
It's a good message to the rest of the league when they come into Dallas as that record continues to grow and grow. The conversation will always be, the coaches will always start to say, and it's worse when the coaches say it because the players hear it. The opposing coaches, like, it's a hard place to win hockey games. So you've already got a bit of an edge, with people coming into town. But it wasn't a fast, didn't seem like a fast-spirited game right from the start of them coming home. They just methodically went about their business. They took their time and their patience, and they did some of the little things where they got pucks in deep. They got pucks to the front of the net. There was a lot of traffic, I thought, tonight that Wolf had to contend with. So it was a good recipe, a good start to a homestand.
The Stars actually are 11-1.
That's what I thought. I was
at American Airlines Center because there's an asterisk
Finland.
because the home game in
count.
Finland.
We don't
They've only
count that
lost
Finland.
one actual game at American Airlines Center. That is a very, very good start to the year at home.
Yeah, I mean, again, you feel good when you come to the rink and you've got confidence when you're looking at the schedule. And the day before at practice, you just feel a little bit more comfortable because you're coming into your building and things are going well. And regardless how things turn out early in hockey games, you believe in what you do in that building, and the confidence just continues to grow. It seems like as they get down to the first and then the second and then the third, they just don't feel right now. It feels like they don't think that they can be beaten this building.
Jakeoettinger gets his 10th home win of the season in 11 starts. Think about that. He's 10-1 at home, as two are the Dallas Stars, essentially. Well, they have one Casey DeSmith victory, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, was that Seattle shutout, his first game as a Dallas Star.
This is why when you get to playoff time and people say, it doesn't matter where you finish, just get there. That's true. You like to be at home, and you have a goaltender that feels really good at home, and you have players that feel really good at home. You have to go to a Game 7. It matters.
It was weird, though, because last year the opposite was true. Stars were better on the road than they were at home. They had a good home record, top 10 in the league, but they had the number 1 road record. And in the playoffs, we highlighted it on one of our early shows on this podcast. Very good away from home, not so good at home in the playoffs. But right now, the way they're playing at the AAC makes me feel like that will be a different story this playoff time.
It's all about the confidence, and those things build up over the course of the season, and that things aren't going as well at home. Your fans maybe get a little more frustrated that you're not winning games at home when you're winning on the road, and that starts to kind of trickle into your mind too. So all those little things add up when the playoff time comes around.
So I mentioned that Jake hit 10 wins at home. He was already leading the league going into tonight in home wins with 9, so he adds to that. So, I mean, you like to see it. All right, let's get to some of the action tonight. And, Luddy, it actually didn't go very well early in this one because the Flames scored on the game's first shot. This has happened before this year.
Yeah.
And it was a little concerning, the fact that they fall behind after just 1 minute.
Yeah, it was a couple errors. And unfortunately, it was by a pair of defensemen that have been playing really well. And it started with Lyubushkin. He sends a missile to Jamie, which wasn't even really near Jamie and was behind him, actually. And then the mistake, I mean, those things happen, but the mistake that Lyubushkin makes is now he goes and he runs after that puck that's on the wall, which turns into a 2-on-1. And then the next thing that happens is Miro goes down for me way too early. There was a back checker coming back, and I believe it was Steele. I think he's the one that kind of, you see his stick come into the play a little bit. But if Heiskanen buys a little more time and he stays more in the middle of the ice, that pass doesn't open up as quick. And the feet of who's making the pass over to the guy that's driving to the net, his feet keep going. So he's moving to a worse and worse angle, but he makes that play. He goes down early. Next thing you know, Huberdeau gets it in the perfect spot, and Jake doesn't have a chance on it.
I mean, it's a wide open net.
Yeah.
It all started because of the turnover at the blue line and put him in a bad spot. But they get a power play. Actually don't score on it, although I thought the play Marchment made to catch the puck and drive and stuff it at the crease, Sam and I were talking in the press box, kind of reminded me of what Mark Stone did to the Stars the other night in Vegas.
Yeah, it again, pucks are going to the net, and as the other players on your team see that happening, now you start to gravitate to the net. And when you know that a player like Marchment pulls that off when he gets a little room, you start to go, okay, well, I'm not getting a pass out here. He's probably going to either score the goal or there's going to be something laying around the net.
Well, they actually had to go shorthanded to get their tying goal, not on the power play. Wyatt Johnston unassisted at 4:26 because jamiebenn again takes a penalty on the power play, this time for tripping. And look, say what you want about the other penalty Jamie took in that previous game where it was recently. I'm trying to remember which one. Was it Vegas or was it LA? This one wasn't a penalty for me. I thought it was a bad call by the referee because he's making a play on the puck, hits the puck, and his stick then catches Sharon Govich's skate. He goes down. Look, ordinarily, you're responsible for your stick. Your stick gets underneath a guy's skate. He falls. Whether you were trying to knock him over or not, it's penalty. We know it's the rule. He's playing the puck. How is that a penalty?
Yeah, sometimes I believe it was the referee that was in the zone below the goal line that made that call. And sometimes when they feel that they don't have a clear view of it, it's the backside guy that calls it. But he immediately raises his arm. So probably from his angle, he doesn't see what actually happens.
I don't think he can see the puck as well because it's behind Sharon Govich's skate.
Yeah, he doesn't see it, and all he really sees is Jamie take a swat, and it looks like you caught him in the back and tripped him. So, but again, I think they're so good, and this is one where that front referee is very confident in what he sees, and he makes the call. Where other times that they won't really do that, they'll kind of look to their partner out there, then he would call it if the first guy doesn't see it.
Well, it actually helped the Stars because they look dangerous at 4-on-4, but technically score shorthanded because Blake Coleman comes out of the box 2 seconds before Wyatt Johnston scores. But Wyatt does this all himself. This is literally a cause a problem, create a turnover, and go score unassisted. It was a beautiful play all around.
Yeah, and it starts with Naz. I mean, Nazem Kadri has this puck. They're shorthanded, right? And he tries to dangle, I think it's Sam Steele, at the blue line, at his own blue line, instead of just getting the puck.
I think it was 4-on-4.
Was it 4-on-4?
Because that was after Jamie's penalty.
I thought it was out already. Oh, okay.
So, no. It would have been when he stole it, it's still 4-on-4.
So that's when he first came out of the box.
So Coleman comes out of the box as Wyatt's curling to go shoot.
Okay. So regardless, I think, though, is Kadri is trying to dangle somebody at his own blue line. And that's where the turnover starts. And you can see the coach at times. You can hear him in your head, too. And then it goes down. And from there, it's the Wyatt Johnston show. I mean, he undresses Ball and Anderson and pops through it. And I think it's the finish. I mean, this is going to be a highlight goal that they're going to end up showing here. We're going to see this on the NHL Network and other places for a while because maybe not so much when he splits the D so much, but it's the shot. When he gets that, and that's what I was talking about with Wyatt in the beginning of the season. When he comes in like that, he's got that ability to lift that puck so quick. And I don't know. I mean, yeah, Wolf probably has a chance, but I mean, it's just the perfect shot at the perfect time. It's an all-around great play.
It was big because the Stars felt like that first power play, they had something, and then they get hard done. Again, I whined about the penalty, but I thought the power play looked a little dangerous. They lose it. The captain goes to the box. You could kind of get into that woe is me, but they didn't. And Wyatt makes a great play, gets the goal. And then right after that, Luds, Roope Hintz, high danger chances. He drives the net on the backhand. Look, I know that they touched up Dustin Wolf for 6 goals tonight, but I can see why Sean likes him because Wolf is athletic. He's not a very big guy, but he reads the play really well. He plays with a lot of confidence. He made a mistake later we're going to talk about, but he really made some big. I thought the Stars could have easily had a much bigger lead. I had chances at 10-2 with 1, 2, 3 high danger chances for the Stars in the first, but it's a 1-1 hockey game.
I'm not sure what that really tells you about Dallas or about Calgary, because it didn't seem like it was this track meet of a game. It was kind of congested at times, and I felt at times Calgary was in the right areas, but then all of a sudden here's this chance, here's that chance. But what's nice is when I hear you say that Roope Hintz and you talk about guys driving the net, because now we're starting to see that more and more from Roope. That's how he creates problems for the opposing team, because now all of a sudden you've got a couple, 2, 3 players that have to catch him, and then they chase him there, and that's how it loosens up coverage behind him.
Oh, and we're going to talk about crashing the net a little bit later. So second period, dangerous moment. Sam Steele turns away from where he was looking and into jamiebenn. And Jamie doesn't see he's going to turn and literally takes Steele off his feet. Now, simple physics, inertia wins, and jamiebenn is a much bigger, stronger player, and that force is going to obviously win. And unfortunately for Steele, I think he went into concussion protocol because he didn't come back until this was in the first minute of the second period. I don't think he came back until about 3 or 4 minutes to go.
And when he came back. Like, again,
fortunately,
really,
he was okay.
Yeah, he's fine. I mean, he was skating too, especially in the third period. He was flying. So it just tells you that they did the right thing, because they, saw his body language coming off. They saw the hit, whatever, and put him in protocol. But he came back, and obviously he's feeling okay. Well, hopefully he is. Tomorrow, if anything, it'll kick in.
Stars get a go-ahead goal from a guy that needs to go to the net sometimes to open up his other shots, and that's Jason Robertson. And it all stems, Luds, from him going to the penalty box for interference at 5:39.
What are you saying? He needs a head start to get into the offensive zone by coming out of the box?
It doesn't hurt, but what really was nice was how he held off the back-checking forward and scored a goal.
Producer's got something here.
Does it remind you of somebody, that statement? Somebody who might need a head start coming out of the penalty box
he
on
really
a breakaway?
wants to play a sound effect.
Yeah, but I dumped it in, I think. Everybody was yelling at me to dump it. Are we going back in this time capsule again?
Week of the show, Owen, when Reddit voted that Luds was the slowest player in Stars history, and someone commented the exact incident that I believe we're talking about now against the Ducks.
Oh, he's just trying to.
Luddy got a half-rink head start and got caught from behind, and then blamed his teammates.
Pretty much, because everybody was yelling at me and to dump it in, for God's sakes, and I kept looking at the bench. That's what slowed me down.
He also is not a forward and 100-point scorer.
I didn't even know what end of the rink the offensive zone was. Most of my
You're just hoping you went the right way.
That is a totally different zip code for me.
I mean, look, we've all seen, I'm sure, one of our youth hockey games when the kids are really little. Kid grabs the puck and takes off, and everyone's going, no, the wrong way, because he's attacking his own net. That's happened.
Well, that's not what this story is about, though.
Has nothing to do with that.
Yeah, okay, I was going the right direction.
It was Jason Robertson scoring his 6th of the year. Oscar Beck and Ilya Lyubushkin with the assists at 7:47. But look, Robo went to the net, held off the D, and put it through the legs of the goaltender, and they have a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, and look at where he's at. For people that are watching, this is where, when you're having a hard time or you're a third, fourth line guy that scoring doesn't come easy, you go here. Look at where his feet are. He's inside the paint. Yes, it can be a penalty, but you go there. And I say that all the time about goal scorers. They're so used to pucks going in that are shots and nice passing plays, and all of a sudden it dries up. Well, if you want to score a goal, go to the front of the net, pay the price for it. But what I liked about not just this part of it, it's prior to that. Like, there's a race. There's a foot race for that puck. And what Robo does is, instead of chasing for the puck, he takes a step to the right. He gets in front of the guy that's chasing him, and now he has position on him, and that puts he's left-handed, so the puck is to his left side. If there's just a race going to that, to the puck, he establishes position. Now he's either going to pull him down or he's going to continue to fight. Robo gets to the puck and he just swats it into the net. But then he brings that player and there was another defenseman that kind of stood out too wide. But all of a sudden now, as a goaltender, you're not just seeing one guy coming in from a distance. You got people that you're kind of concerned with might be crashing into me.
Well, I was going to ask Luddy a follow-up, but he answered it, of the other defenseman for Calgary. Does he want to step in instead of just letting Robo have the net from the blue line in?
it reminds me of some things sometimes. He just kind of there
Man
was
on
another
man.
player way over there that he was kind of paying attention to. But yeah, you'd like him to say, "Hey, help me out a little bit here."
We'll talk about the other goal in the second period and the flurry in the third period next on the DLLS Dallas Stars postgame show.
Founded in 2010, Herman Marshall, Dallas County's first legal distillery since the repeal of Prohibition. Located in historic downtown Wiley, Texas is proud to partner with the Guns N' Hoses Foundation of North Texas on a single barrel expression of its signature straight bourbon whiskey. The Guns N' Hoses Foundation is a nonprofit organization dedicated to providing immediate financial assistance to the families of fallen police officers and firefighters lost in the line of duty. They're built from the grain up. Family, fellowship, and friends. So, for every bottle of single barrel straight bourbon whiskey, Herman Marshall donates 15% of its revenue to the Guns N' Hoses Foundation of North Texas for those who went before. Stop into your closest goody liquors and other fine retailers.
Let's talk about Shady Rays. Get ready for the season ahead with quality shades built to last. Look, there's plenty of sunshine in Dallas, in North Texas, and wherever you are tuning in. Hopefully you get as much sunshine as Texas. It doesn't always work that way. So you need shades in every season. Well, Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Their shades have durable frames and crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all outdoor activities and adventures. They have hundreds of options to choose from, so you're bound to find the perfect pair to match your style. They probably even have a style in your favorite team's colors. Well, you've seen me wear them on the show. I left them in my computer bag. I didn't want to rub it into leads every single time. Otherwise, the bit wears a little thin. But they're comfortable. They look great. I recommend those aviators. Very, very comfortable. They even have a tangle-free option so that it doesn't get hung up if you have longer hair. Definitely not mine. Maybe Luddy's length. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com. Use the code DLLS for $35 off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. So we go back to our recap, and in that second period, Luds, you talked about the game being kind of sleepy. Well, the high danger chances through 2 periods was pretty low. I ended up having Dallas at 5-1, meaning Calgary only had 1, but they had 2 goals. The second goal was a good crash the net, but it wasn't really a high danger scoring chance. It's just that it went off Connor Zeri's shin pad into the goal. A little unlucky for the Stars there, or is that just a good go to the net hard by Calgary?
Is this the one where Bork was tracking back?
Was he the one behind him? I think you might have been right, yeah.
This is why defensemen say never trust a forward. Because if you watch the whole play, Matt Dumba is facing him. But because of the way that we play, Dumba goes with another player and he leaves that spot where you would typically say we switch there, defenseman takes him to the net. Well, Bork actually peeks over his shoulder right about the blue line. So I think he kind of knows he's there, but he never looked back again. So he didn't know where he was. Once the puck gets down to the left side of Oettinger and it comes back across and the shot and it just bounces out, whatever it does, Bork is on the wrong side. He's not even he doesn't even know he's there anymore. Now, if that defenseman would have switched off, and all you do say is switch, I got him. And so now Matt Dumba is facing him, and then defensemen take forwards to the front of the net where they're used to playing against forwards. Sometimes forwards aren't used to playing on that side of the puck down there in front of the goaltender. They don't position themselves the right way. They don't box out. So that, to me, is what happened on that one. But regardless, the way that they play, that's Bork's guy. So he has to know where he is all the time, and he didn't.
I didn't think that the Stars had a particularly great second period. Now, I think Steele being out, when what we presume was concussion protocol, probably didn't help because we saw some really interesting combinations of forwards. Yeah. They were really mixing and matching a bit because they were down to only 11 forwards for a good chunk of the second period. So maybe that's the bit of the write-off there. I thought Calgary was slightly the better team, but again, Dallas didn't give up a whole lot of really dangerous. There's a lot of long-distance shots from the Flames.
Yeah, they were keeping them to the perimeter, and they had guys in the right area of the ice, and so they were kind of – Calgary was taking whatever Dallas was giving them, and it wasn't a lot.
No, it really wasn't. So you go to the third period. Here you are at home. You're at the end of a long stretch of games. You know you have a couple of days off. All you got to do is win a period on home ice. You win the hockey game, and you have 3 days to feel good about it. And they did, but it wasn't the start of the third period that did it for them, Luds, because I remember Razor going, wow, Dallas has been on their heels to start. It's because Calgary had let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the first 6 quality chances. Again, nothing high danger, but they were having offensive zone time and possession and some shots. Jake Oettinger looked very solid, but you would expect him to make those saves.
He was good, like you said. I don't think they were particularly that dangerous.
No.
But they were there. And really what Dallas did, I think, too, is they helped out Jake in front. When there was pucks laying around as far as rebounds go and trying to get sticks off the ice, I thought they did a lot better job tonight. Now, that probably has a little bit to do with Calgary. I don't know if Calgary feels real good about themselves, about not scoring a lot of goals, and they just seem
just in general, let alone this game.
Yeah, they just don't seem that energized kind of team that we're used to seeing come into this building.
Well, I mean, when you were looking at this stuff, we always look. Luddy pretends to not know anything, but he actually does do plenty of prep work. I do too. And when I was looking at Calgary's stats for the season, and I'm just going down their goals leaders, I'm like, wow. Nobody's really got a lot of goals. Nobody's got a lot of points. They're just not a very high offensive team, even though their power play had been really, really hot. But 5-on-5, they're just not putting a lot of pucks in the net.
What a team has to do with them is they're a team that wants to hang around. And like you've talked, Wolf has been real good for them this year. Maybe not particularly great here late in the game, but regardless, they're a team that just feels they have to hang around. You talk about high danger, low danger, all these kind of, they're trying to keep things to the outside of the ice and just hang in there, and maybe they get a lucky bounce or get some kind of a break going late into the third period.
And they hung around. The tie game going into the third, they had to be pretty pleased at where they're at in a season where they've really struggled to get points on the road. And they did it again tonight because the line of Robertson, Hintz, and Johnston, because of the Tyler Seguin injury, Luds, I'm kind of going back to calling them the top line as they get the goal to break the 2-2 deadlock. And it's Roope Hintz, of course, with Esa Lindell on a 2-on-1.
Have we seen Esa up below the tops of the circles more often this year in the offensive zone than we ever have?
It feels like he's making a concerted effort to jump into the play more. Why not?
But he's good at reading it.
He can do it.
Yeah, he's good at reading it. I think he's got some freedom because now when you look at pairs and things like that, and you have a partner that you are comfortable with, and you know that can handle it if it's outnumbered rush going the other way. But what he's doing is he's picking the right moment to go. I mean, and this really started. Robo, give him credit because he got that puck up right away. I mean, he could have skated a little bit,
pass.
and it keeps their speed moving, and so. All Roope had to do once Esa got the puck is just basically put your stick out there, and he did, and he just got just enough of it to get it to go between the legs.
Do you notice, and again, it's different when you're watching it on the TV monitor than up in the press box, but I couldn't help but notice that we played that clip from Ryan Huska, the coach of the Flames, about, we really have to worry about their transition game. It didn't always culminate in a great scoring chance, but there were so many times where a turnover of possession, and it doesn't always have to be a giveaway, but the change of possession in the Star zone quickly led to a rush opportunity. Even if they didn't get the shot off, it was through the neutral zone fast.
The majority of teams in this league, not all of them, they're afraid of their speed. And so when they stretch guys out of the zone, especially as a defenseman, you have a hard time keeping up with them.
Yeah.
So you have to give yourself some kind of a buffer. And when you do that and you start to pull out because they're sending 1-2 guys sometimes, there's a big gap in the middle of the ice. And so that's why you see all of these flippers that happen now. I mean, Esa's great at it. Miro, the defensemen are flipping pucks from the goal line to the faceoff dot in their own zone because there's 2 guys just sprinting. Now it becomes like a 50-50 puck. You know what I mean? Like it just gets tossed up. You don't know where the bounce is going. But because they play that way, as soon as you touch the puck, you know that there's somebody up there, and that's exactly what happened on this play.
And it's amazing because I think the team reads that they know what they want to do so well that it's not, we always use the word cherry picking for a guy that's floating by the opposite blue line, not really playing defense. It's not that. It's reading that we're going to win possession, and they take a calculated risk and stretch them.
But I think what scares you even more is the guys that are doing that, which is all of them, but the majority of them can finish.
Yeah.
Like if it's fourth line guys doing it, you can maybe stay up sometimes, try to cut that off because you think that you have a better chance that they're not going to turn the other thing into a goal. But I think now they move so well, they skate so well, and a lot of them have such great hands and they got the finish ability. You're trying to say, well, I got to stay between them and the net. I mean, I can't allow one of these guys on a 2-on-1 because they're going to translate it into a goal.
And you didn't play with this rule back in the 99 era,
Yeah.
the no 2-line pass. completely changes the ability to stretch because, you watch like the 99 Cup run, it's constant 3-on-2s.
Yeah.
It's 3 forwards attacking the 2D. You stay back, you're in control. Yep. You get the puck, you get it to your forward. Now it's 3-on-2 the other way. Forwards aren't necessarily that interested in back checking. There's more east-west to it because you can hold them inside the red line.
It's funny how one rule will lead to another rule to somehow try to correct the first rule because that's why the tag up or whatever they want to call the icing call came into
the hybrid,
now. So that because now defensemen are getting run. And so it was getting to be dangerous down there because you got 2 forwards and they've got a head of speed, and now it's just a race, and you're trying to get there, and there's all these collisions at the end boards. And so now you're just trying to get to a spot. So again, we'll see what happens here with the icing and the offsides, and let's see how many other rules are going to tweak eventually.
Well, they should have had a 4th goal. Stars are up 3-2 after Stankoven had a really nice redirection at the right side of the crease from Duchesne. Wolf makes the save. They get the puck around the net, go to the other side, and it's a scramble, and Duchesne has basically 4x6 open net, but it's blocked by Nazem Kadri.
Oh, that's what it was. He fell down.
I don't even know if he knew he was blocking or if he was just happened to be part of the fracas in the crease, but it hit him.
That was desperation to lay down the way he did. He wasn't going to get hit in the face.
He had his back.
Yeah, that's why play. He didn't want to get hit in the head because you don't know where it's going.
Right.
But more than likely, that's like, okay, I turned the puck over earlier in the game and got scored on. I don't want it to happen again.
Well, they avoided getting scored on. Then they had a couple of good chances. Again, Huds, they finished with 26 scoring chances, 1 high danger. That's, I think, going back to our thing about Calgary not being that offensive, that says a lot.
That's what happens when coaches will see that stat and they'll come in and they're going to say, all we have here is a bunch of perimeter players. Nobody wants to get interior. Nobody wants to pay the price to score goals, and everybody's just staying on the outside.
So let's rattle off these goals because the Stars went from 3-2 to running away with it, and it was kind of a burst of scoring at the second half of the third period. Started with Sam Steele getting a goal from the left circle on a mistake. Dustin Wolf looked great for a lot of this game, and I can see why Sean is high on him. I can see why he won a bunch of awards in the AHL, and I think he's going to be a long time. He reminds me a bit of, because of his stature, of UC Saros, but he plays the position differently, and he's a very good puck handler, but not on that play.
This was jamiebenn. It was a read, and Jamie would typically go in and probably swing behind the net, try to stop that puck for a goalie throwing it around the wall. James, instead of going straight to right to go behind the net, he pulls up a little bit and he turns to the left, and it's exactly where Wolf put the puck, and then it was just a little chip back to Steele.
Steele gets his 3rd of the year. Ben gets the assist. 12:01 time of the goal. 61 seconds later, they get another one. Thomas Harley scores off a deflection, off of the pants, basically, of Miramonov. That wrong-footed the goalie. Nothing Wolf could do on that one. That's Harley's 3rd. But again, it's getting pucks funneled to the net, which is what every team in the league does.
And it's because I believe it was Beck and Blackwell that drove to the net.
Beck got the 2nd assist. Lundqvist with the primary. How about that?
So but the 2 forwards that aren't going to the net, they don't bring those 2 defensemen with them. They do, but if they don't go, they won't come with them. So they ultimately do. And now all of a sudden, instead of having 1 or 2 bodies in front of the net, now there's 4, and that's why it hits one of the defensemen in the hip and goes in.
And then in the final minute, Stars get a power play, actually, with about 2.5 to go, because Pahal catches a Marchman in the face, but then Stankoven gets called for a slashing. So it's 4-on-4 hockey, and Harley gets his 2nd through 2, maybe 3 screens. Started by shooting through the legs of the defender.
You know who one of them was in front of the net?
Who was it?
Matt Duchesne.
Yeah.
So Duchesne comes out of the corner, puck comes out, Duchesne makes a play out, and he goes right to the front of the net. And again, you go there, good things happen.
Duchesne gets an assist, his 17th. Marchment gets an assist, his 15th. Harley gets his 2nd goal tonight, his 4th goal of the season. And look, Thomas Harley has not been perfectly prolific offensively this year, but if he starts to heat up, that's going to be really good for this team.
Yeah, and I think he's got to – this is what gets him going. You know, he may not show it all the time, but I said this at the beginning of the year. I think Thomas is the most dangerous defenseman Dallas has from the offensive blue line, top of the circles in. He makes plays. He makes good passes. He's got poise and patience with the puck.
Very big poise.
And we know he can shoot the puck. We've seen him shoot the puck, but He's not a guy that's going to give the puck away. He'll try to find little plays, and he generally makes the right passes and plays down there below the tops of the circles when he does. You just have to make sure when you're playing with him, there has to be yelling from the bench, third man, have a guy back, and it's got to be a forward that makes sure you take his place. He doesn't make a lot of turnovers down there, but they're going to happen, and you have to make sure that there's somebody back there with that defenseman.
Stars get the win with a huge 4-goal third period, and as we said before, continue to be nearly unbeatable at American Airlines Center this year. So they get the victory, their 17th win of the season, and we have lots more to get to here on the DLLS Dallas Stars postgame show.
But first, it's Rugged Road. Rugged Road is dedicated to creating innovative and durable outdoor gear for adventurers who demand the best. Our products are designed with the highest quality materials and craftsmanship. Whether you're on land or water, Rugged Road gear is built to accompany you on every adventure. One of the most unique features of Rugged Road coolers is their ability to always float upright. Unlike other heavy-duty coolers, they're incredibly light, making them easy to transport on any trip without compromising on performance. Crafted to handle the toughest environments, their coolers are built to last, ensuring they can keep up with any adventure and guaranteed to keep their contents cool for up to 7 days. Perfect for fishing and tubing to camping and tailgating, these coolers are designed to meet the needs of every outdoor or sports enthusiast. So, gear up for your next adventure with Rugged Road coolers. Reliable, durable, and built to be used. Rugged Road is your ultimate outdoor companion. Head to ruggedroadoutdoors.com and use code DLLS for 10% off.
Let's talk about FOCO. We haven't talked about FOCO on our show for a little while. You need to get fitted out in the best sports gear around. Talking about hoodies, shoes. You can also get things like signs, bobbleheads, everything in between. If you're going to a Stars or a Mavs game, show off your love for the team-branded friendship bracelets. That's Luddy's personal favorite. Or jackets, beachwear. Well, Luddy's more of an overalls guy, maybe, than a friendship bracelet.
Called bibs.
You can get those. There really is something for fans for almost every occasion. They've been doing it since 1998. Casual collection, retro collection, old hats, NHL ugly sweater pajamas, NHL Snuggies, even Christmas ornaments. Check out the ones that are Dell on the Discord. Use the code, which is check out foco.com or click on the link in the description below in YouTube. For all non-presale items, use the promo code DLLS10 for 10% off. All right. Is it chat time or is it Sam time, John?
Let's see. I do not have any communication from Sam, so I believe we can hop into the chat.
Let's go chat, and then Sam can join us whenever he wants. Or if he doesn't want to, that's okay too.
Let me find Bing Bong's music. 1 second.
Oh, we've got super chats. Let's rock this. I'm not going to be able to read that, though, until we stretch the screen up, though. Because that one is... Let's see. I love Missy. Oh, it's Robertson, and that's not Dumba. That's a Robertson Ludwig. The game was fun. However, it's another game that ended in regulation. Well, it's nice the Stars keep getting regulation wins, but they're also leaving points on the board with regulation losses. Will that hurt the team? Okay, 2 things here. First, it's been a long week. We've had a lot of games, late nights. It's Sunday. We've got a show tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday. We got a game Thursday. We didn't need bonus hockey tonight. Regulation was fine. Overtime shootout. Look, when the Stars are behind and they chase and get into that, great. But it is an interesting point, Luds, because it has been, save for that one shootout, a 60-minute season.
Good. Why go to overtime if you don't have to and risk losing that extra point? Because the way things are going this year and the races that are going on, every point matters.
Yeah. Now, I understand that was actually something that our friend Robert Tiffin asked Pete this morning, and I almost clipped it, but we had enough clips to play already, which is the Stars led the NHL in comeback wins last year. They have not had a lot of comebacks this year. In fact, they haven't. Most of the time when they've been chasing, they've ended up losing the game. Do you have any thoughts on that? Pete basically thought his idea was, sometimes it takes doing it once to get your team's confidence. It's kind of like the power play. Once you get one, you start to get going. But maybe it's just because the big guys haven't been scoring.
You really don't want to win games that way if you got to come from behind.
No, it means you're behind a lot.
Yeah, you're chasing the game, and you're going to run into a goal turn. And again, it's bad habits to get into heading into the playoffs. So It's a hell of a lot easier playing with a lead. Well, I know some people are going to say the 2-goal and 3-goal lead, but I can tell you, ask every single player, they don't want to chase a game. Not only that, about chasing the game is tough sometimes, but now you start wearing out your top guys because they're the ones that are going to be on the ice most of the time. And what he likes to do here is spread the minutes out. And all that stuff can take a toll on you as the season runs along, and guys that are playing a little bit too much because you're trying to win hockey games, you're trying to finish where you want to finish as high as you can, and you're kind of laying everything out there every game. So you're better off winning them in regulation and get them over with.
T. Farmer just responded and to agree with me, so we've got to highlight this. He said, correct, Owen, my girl has testing tomorrow, no bonus hockey. There it is right there. Right, we've got things to do. Here's the funny thing. When I was growing up, I loved extra innings in baseball, overtime in hockey, extra football, overtime basketball. When you
as a fan.
Right,
you're trying to get your money's worth.
And even as a fan now, I don't mind. When I first started working in sports, it was 2003. I was working for an independent minor league baseball team. And it was the first time I went, extra innings are awful. We never want to see that unless your team is behind and you want to chase. You want to get the pitcher moving. Every time the pitcher steps off the rubber, you go, come on. Your favorite player becomes the guy that works quickly because you've got to work every day. It's a job. Even though it's fun, save those overtimes for the other teams.
We're not getting paid any extra to play extra minutes.
Exactly. All right, let's go to the next one. Marshall second. A little Lundqvist and Duchesne. I miss Sagan, but it's nice to see Duchesne get rewarded with the A in the meantime. He deserves it.
Yeah.
How about that? I mean, don't forget, Matt Duchesne had a bit of a reputation of not necessarily being the best teammate.
You're a little selfish
in his career.
Is that what you're trying to say?
More or less.
Okay. Yeah.
A guy that maybe doesn't help cultivate the best team atmosphere.
Maybe he never felt as part of a group as he does here.
I mean, it could be the maturing, growing older, changing his priorities. But all I can tell you is that since I met Matt Duchesne, which was the beginning of last year till now, consummate professional, very great to talk to, gives great answers, why we clip his stuff all the time.
And you can see the writers and reporters, he's one of their go-to guys.
Because he gives you great, honest, and actually passionate stuff. He shares, he's open about it. Most guys try to say things to make the interviews end.
We all don't mature at the same rate as others.
Fair. But
I can say that.
But don't you
I'm not there yet.
Don't you think that it really is something about him wearing a letter? That's a big deal.
Yeah, you know what? It is. It's nice that he's being recognized for wearing it from other people, but he knows in the room he's one of those leaders.
Without the letter.
And and that's been said in players' meetings for a long time. Is guys will have individual meetings and things like that, and they're gonna tell you, like, you are one of our leaders. You don't have to wear a letter to be a leader. And they say that because the player does the right things, he says the right things, and he wants them to express it to the rest of the group.
Now I want to go ask him, and they're going to have a couple days before we'll have another media availability, but I want to ask him if he felt comfortable, because he was a veteran guy and he's accomplished a lot individually, to just come in and speak, because he is a pretty talkative guy. You talked about this, Luds, of, you're new in a room, you're always a little wary about saying too much too fast, because you have to sort of get a feel for it and become part of the group before you start just barking, because otherwise guys are like, who's this guy?
Well, the other thing is if you get there and you're new, whatever you say, you have to do, and so you have to be saying the right kind of things. There are times that there were things that I thought I wanted to say, but I knew I couldn't back them up. So, you can't just blurt them out. And so, you have to know your own self. And I think, but I think with Matt, he's got the years of experience. He's obviously a go-to guy right now for the coaches. And like I said earlier, he enjoys where he is, and he likes the city. He likes the culture here. Most importantly, he probably likes the teammates. And, they're all in this. You could put a letter probably on 90-80% of them.
Yeah, you're right.
Probably.
Hey, John, let's rattle through these before we get to another super chat, because they're all talking about this point. Ardell said Duchesne has changed the dynamic of this team, especially in Pavelski's absence. And then I love this comment here. His defense is this. I love Missy. His defense is standing out, which is great. Like, you've talked about that specifically. Steady Rhythms. I had a feeling Duchesne would be the next quote unquote leader to step up with Sagan out. He just seems like he'd be ready to speak whether people want him to or not. But this was interesting. Court said this. Maybe Dutch's issue was that he was on teams that sucked.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's on a good team that he enjoys playing with right now. And he wants to be part of a winner, and he wants to win. The candle is starting to dim a little bit, when you look at some of these guys. So
when you're in your 30s, it's inevitable in hockey.
You don't know. You never know.
Let's go to the next one.
Bing bang.
Uh-oh.
Oh, boy. We got a good one here. Yeah, so this is a little Robertson Hintz from Ardell. Question and comment. I was really encouraged by the first robo goal. That was 100% a determination goal. He was not going to be denied. And then his other question is, that was his comment. And then his question is Sam Steele playing to stay on that line with Jamie Benn? The man of steel has been good.
I don't think he's playing to be on. What was that?
That was the rim shot. Do it again, John.
It's like we're playing it for the first time.
I don't pay attention to you guys. I keep trying to tell you that. I don't
just
pay
tell a
attention
joke
to this
and we'll
stuff.
do it again.
He's not. He's playing to continue to get the minutes that he's getting. He's playing because that's what he does. He's supposed to play that way, and he wants to be put into more situations. And he's growing as a player, and he's growing. I mean, the biggest thing for him is the coaches have the confidence in him now to put him in different situations. He's going to be the next guy when somebody doesn't play well in the power play, or you get somebody that won't stay in front of the net and won't dig pucks out of the corner. You can throw him up there. So it's what you're supposed to do as a young player. I don't care if you're young or old. That you have to do, and you have to be able to come outside your comfort zone. The other thing is tonight he took literally a headshot. And he returned
yes,
when they let him
friendly
return.
fire too.
Yeah.
He learned the hard way that so many of other players has, that if you run into Jamie Benn on the ice, you usually don't win.
Opponents got to have their heads up, and teammates got to have their heads up.
Boy, and honestly, those, to be all seriousness, those Luds, you've probably seen dozens of these, but the scariest hits are the ones that players don't see coming. Right?
You can't prepare yourself.
You can't prepare yourself.
Normally, you can kind of brace yourself for something that's coming.
I saw one between two players. It was Luke Gazdic for the Texas Stars, and I'm trying to remember the Oklahoma City Thunder. It was the Edmonton Oilers affiliate, and they were both swinging around the circle in one zone, and they both turned into each other, looking the other way. It was two over 200-pound players crashing face first into each other. It was a sickening sound, and they both dropped because neither one had any chance to brace.
Yeah, it's when you can't see it coming. And in this game, it's not like, again, football, there's contact in every play, right? Somebody's getting hit, but they're starting inches apart.
And they're kind of looking at it, the guy that's going to hit them.
You're that defensive back and a receiver, and now they've tried to take some of that out of the game a little bit.
Right, the defenseless receiver where they go up for a ball and they know they're probably going to hit, but they can't see where it's coming from. Yeah. Another bing bong, or are we just going along? That was the last bing bong. We have a little bit more time before we have to go to Sam.
Where is Sam? What can Sam be doing right now?
He's writing, probably.
He's probably trying to get stuff done.
He likes to get it. The other night, Owen, he posted his game recap before we even went live with the post-game show.
Well, he was that quick, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're writing during the game, so if you have your thoughts done and nothing changes late, he's
looking for an empty bathroom. Oh, no, he hasn't been in a bathroom lately. He's been upstairs, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Well, he hasn't been back since he allegedly may have caused a plumbing issue in this building.
Yes, it was definitely his fault. We have an interesting, we were talking about the collisions. Lane writes in, the Harley and Marchment collision, he said mush, was scary for a moment. Very awkward looking.
It looked like it hurt.
And Harley got up really slow. That's why it was so great to see him come back and score not once but twice in the game, because that collision, I mean, knock on wood, you could easily leave the game injured with something like that.
It's a fast game, guys.
Yeah, and it's a full contact game. Sometimes guys get hurt. Let's see. I love Misty. One of the worst collisions I've seen was in baseball. Carlos Beltran and Mike Cameron colliding in the face while diving for a fly ball. Yeah, those are scary. So, Joe Mama's making bad jokes about our rim shot, which is a legit term, but he took it a different way, of course.
I would too, Joe Mama.
Back at the beginning of the chat, we had Texas Twist saying, if hug means, I don't know what that means. If hug means Lud's victory shot, you got, because.
This is a ploy I do to get likes on the video. If we're sitting at 4 likes, I'll say 5th like gets a hug, and then like 8 people will like it. will be at like 13, and I'll say 14th like gets a hug. Usually it only works once or twice, and I think they're on to me now. So, thoughts, Luz?
None. Am I supposed to have a shot or something or what?
Somebody did. I don't know. Let me see if I saved this. Oh, also from Texas Twist Owen.
Okay, Lodge. You know what time it is tonight.
Ardell's first comment in the chat tonight was Richard Matvichuk said it best, Luds. I don't even know
exactly. What don't you remember?
What was he saying?
Never trust a forward.
That's what it was.
And we had to bleep out a word.
You gonna do it, Luds?
Don't you remember that?
No, I said, are you going to do what Texas Twist has asked you to do?
I don't know what a Texas Twist is, but I know what this is.
Texas Twist wants you to do a victory shot.
What is a Texas Twist?
It says, okay, Luds, you know what time it is tonight. Victory shot, shot.
Okay.
There he is. He's doing it.
That's a Texas shot right there.
By the way, speaking of Herman Marshall, we were informed that our friends from PHNX, the Phoenix branch of ALLCITY Network, who cover Arizona State University, were using our studios over the weekend, yesterday, Saturday, because ASU was playing in the Big 12 championship game, correct? At AT&T Stadium.
Where somebody commandeered our bottle?
I think with permission from our GM.
Yeah, there the culprits are.
There they are. Look at that PHNX in our podcast studio enjoying our Herman Marshall.
We're going to get them back somehow.
And probably wearing Shady Rays, too. I hope they are. Because apparently they go through not only the bottle.
You notice in that picture there's only one guy wearing them there, too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
other guy doesn't know how to get them
either.
Sort of
a trend, isn't it? Well, guess what?
Look at Dirk laughing at him, too.
Those are, at least the cowboy hat, that's part of the set in there. So do you think they were just going around trying different hats?
I don't know.
By the time they got through halfway the bottle?
We'll get them back next road trip when we go out when the Stars play.
Next one will be our first one.
Oh, that's just not nice. Man, you just made a Coyotes joke. That's cutting deep, John. You may have to issue an apology for that.
They drank a full bottle of our Herman Marshall.
Well, I guess we just got to go to Utah then, right?
Yeah, we go to Utah.
Okay.
Yeah, Salt Lake City. Send us to Utah. We'll go hang out with Petey, even though he's in Arizona.
I've been there. It's nice.
Yeah, very nice. All right. I think we should probably get ready for Sam, don't you? So coming up next, Sam, our Herman Marshall marquee moment, man of the match. We wrap this one up. Stars beat the Flames 6-2. This is the postgame show here on DLLS. But before we get to Sam, we want to talk about why you should be a diehard. Do you know that 112 new diehards signed up on the 36 for 36 over Cyber Monday, Black Friday, that sale? That was a really wonderful push. A bunch of new diehards. You saw Ardell using the diehard, the FOCO code to get Christmas ornaments. Look at that. Christmas ornaments, a little Dallas Stars German Shepherd collab using the DLS code at FOCO. Where else are you going to find that? That's pretty cool. But he posted that in the Discord. That's why I brought it up. Not to give FOCO an extra read, but because we got that because he posted in the Discord. Well, guess what we're going to do? We're going to do a Luddy Damn Discord this week. We have shows Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
What day? I got to be
Wednesday,
ready.
Luds. Wednesday's show, we will do a damn Discord. So if you're a diehard, go to the Stars Discord page or channel inside of the Discord. Give us your questions, comments, hypotheticals.
Somebody come up with something good, too.
Yeah.
You got 3 days.
Be creative.
Come up with something good.
Like, you guys are pretty creative in the chat. Do it in the Discord as well.
Every time you stump me, it's going to be a shot. Wait. Take that little part out.
Ooh, on Wednesday during the day. Remember, 2 to 3 in the afternoon.
I'm going to be on the ice after.
Before you coach your team, you'll be hitting the Herman Marshall hard. I don't know about that.
Go there and melt the ice.
So, again, go to alldls.com. Use that QR code if you want to help you out. Sign up to be a diehard. You won't regret it. You get a lot of great perks. Plus, you get access to Sam and Sean's writing, the writing for all of our DLLS coverage, Cowboys, Rangers, Mavericks, you name it. TCU, SMU's coming, I think. We'll have, of course, I think that we're going to do an FC Dallas podcast in the new year. Dallas Wings, you name it. We're covering big-time Dallas sports. All right, where is he? There he is. It's Sam. So, Sam, let's start with Thomas Harley because you tweeted out something funny about his 2 goals tonight.
Yeah, Thomas Harley cracks me up every time I talk to him. He said about his goals. He said, "What'd you see on your goal?" And it was just about the first one. And they said, "Yeah, 2 muffins." He's immediately just talking about his goal, and they really were though. I mean, if you look at his goals, they were just pucks he threw to the net. One of them hits off a Flame's knee or wherever that hit, and then the other one Wolf just completely whiffs on the glove.
That was called his hiney.
It's Heine that it hit.
That was his hiney it hit, not his knee.
It was the seat of his pants.
Yeah.
Good censored way to explain that one, Bloods. Yeah, but the other thing that was funny is Harley's talking about the situations that he scored in, and he's laughing every time he's scored a goal. He's basically downplayed what he did on the goal. And the second one, I don't know if you guys noticed, he didn't even go through the handshake line. The Stars just went right to center ice and got ready for the faceoff. And I asked him, I said, "You didn't even want to go through the handshake line," and he just said, "No."
Sam,
so Harley's one for 1 word answers or funny jokes, I guess.
Sam, I'm going to tell you, do they have a game tomorrow?
No.
Do they have a game the next day?
No.
Do they have the next day after that?
No.
They wanted to get in the shower and get out of there as quick as possible. Are they practicing tomorrow, Sam?
No, 2 days off, which is
exactly
first time we've seen that in a heck of a long time.
You're wasting good time by hanging around going through the handshake line there and the bump line.
Do you guys remember? I don't know if you saw if I clipped this part or not. I thought I did when we did the Vegas pregame show the other night, Friday. Bruce Cassidy was talking about the game against the Stars because they had a 5-day break without a game after the Stars game. They didn't play until, I believe, this coming Thursday, which interestingly is the same that the Stars played. They just had this game. Well, he said, we're going to have a couple of days off because we need it. We're running low on fumes, which is exactly what Sam reported from postgame today. We're running on fumes. Do you think that had contributed to some of when you and I were talking about the way the Stars looked in this game for much of the night?
Yeah, it could. And, they know what's ahead of them. And that's why sometimes you don't let the cat out of the bag, like what days you're getting off, when you got to get them off. And they might be, I don't think they're scheduled. They're not mandatory. But you can always throw that, you know what, I'm not asking you to win a perfect game. We got 3 days coming up here, no game until the 4th day. I'm just not throwing anything out here, but let's win this game and maybe you get an extra day off.
That's right. You have to have those 4 mandatory in the CBA.
You got to dangle that carrot a little bit.
And honestly, as much you and I were talking about it pregame, the balance of practice time versus rest, and you don't want to run your players into the ground with this grueling schedule. And it's going to be this way this year and next year because of the breaks for the 4 nations and the Olympics. So we're not going to get back to a little bit easier schedule until the 25-26 season, right? No, 26-27. That's the season where it should be back to quote-unquote normal. And
I'll be retired by then.
Something comes up at that point. Sam will be drinking 2 sips of his drink by then.
By when?
26-27 season.
Oh.
So 2 years from now.
I got time.
It's a slow process, right? So what else was the talking points from the game tonight, post-game, room, players, coaches, etc.?
The most interesting thing was from Pete DeBoer. He talked about what you guys just talked about, the grueling schedule. And he's played some crazy number of games over the last 20 days, talking about trips to the East Coast, talking about trips to the West Coast, coming back here, playing one game and going right back out. It's been crazy. And Pete actually called that the toughest stretch of the season, the last 20 to 25 days. He said it's really nice to see that stretch is in the rearview mirror. He thought the rest of the season, now, not to say it's easy, like you were just talking about, there are challenges with the condensed schedule because of all the stuff they're doing. But he thought that this last 25 days was their toughest stretch. And they've played some decent hockey. He said that outside of that Chicago game, he felt that they had a chance to win every single game. They didn't win every game, and they weren't necessarily great in every game, but he felt they gave themselves a chance to win every single night, and that was something really big. I asked him what he learned about his team, and he just said their pushback and their grit and their work ethic to push through whatever comes their way, whether it's a guy goes down with an injury like Tyler Seguin, with a crazy schedule, a tough break within a game. His group is it finds a way to respond, and that's just what happens when you have this type of group with the leadership. I heard you guys talking about the leadership group and Duchesne and all these guys. Not every team has that luxury where they can just look at a guy and say, you've been through this 10 times, you've been through this for 8 years straight, you know what to do. All you have to do is say a couple words, and it can calm down a room, whether that's a tough loss or a 2-game losing streak like we just saw on the road. And that is a luxury that the Stars have, and it's something that I think is just going to continue to benefit this team. And the reason it stood out to me what Pete said about being in every game is because that's what I saw from this team last year, right? I think we talked about it early in the preseason, or maybe early in the regular season, that this team just never looked out of a game last year. And while they have been far from perfect this year, they've not really looked completely out of a game besides that Chicago one and maybe a little bit of the Winnipeg one after they got off and running. But
Oh, they looked
that's
out of
really
that Winnipeg game.
yeah. So other than those, really, that they've been in the games, and even in tough scenarios, tough back-to-backs or tough scenarios they've been in, they've found a way to play and show up, and that's huge, because that's how you pick up the wins in games like this, or the overtime losses in games that you're not really playing well in, and those are the points that really start to count up and get you in a nice secure playoff spot down the line.
You know, Sam, it'd be interesting if you had a follow-up question for Pete the next time you ask him or see him, and ask him, like you said, that was your toughest stretch. What did you project out? What did you guys hope for? You know, what did you do? Let's say there's 10 games. Were you guys looking at 20 points? Were you looking at 17? And it just kind of gives you an idea of what they expect out of their team, and you know how they feel about them. I'd be interested to see what they projected. Obviously, they're going to say that they hit it, I would guess. Mm-hmm. Here's a good. This is a tough stretch coming up. We have a good scenario and we have a above good scenario. We don't have anything any other way. I'm just curious. Sometimes
you don't like to throw the bad scenarios.
No,
out in the
not
ether?
at all. Well, I don't think they do. I mean,
that's what I'm saying,
good is going to be basically, you don't have to say the bad, because anything less than the good one is bad.
Right.
And so, we used to do 5-game segments. We had them on the board all, and I'm sure you've seen other teams that do that.
Sure.
But what you got is now a little different in our time. You got bonuses too in those 5-game segments. It started with points, and you always had to have above 500. I think had to be like 7 points of 10. But then it was goals against, and not goals for. So it just kind of tells you it's a little times have changed about what was important at the time,
and the different coaches too.
I'm absolutely going to do that, Luds. I was just writing it down because I don't know. I'm always curious how coaches approach things. They love to be very realistic, but you also don't want to tell your group, like, Luds, were you as players doing that, or was that a coaching thing as well as the players, and you guys were kind of all sharing, this is what we want to get out of this stretch?
Yeah, and how do they take it in? Like, is it travel days? Is it rest days? And because again, we all know that they have a lot of people that are around them that are talking about sleep and travel and time off and all this other kind of stuff. Like, what all goes into that? Is it, would it be different if you had 8 of the 10 at home versus, obviously it would, versus travel, flying, days in between, all that kind of stuff?
All right. I think it's time for us to do our Herman Marshall marquee moment of the game. Pick up your favorite bottle at your closest goody liquor store.
I am going with Jason Robertson with that goal that he scored. I'm saying that because he got there. He got rewarded for being there. That area right there. If you're watching, if you're not, his skates are on the blue paint after the goal goes in.
Reminds me of a '99 goal a little bit. That's
a Harley-ish. And but the other thing is, the only reason that goes along with that is the rest of the group, especially the guys on the line. I think a lot of those guys feel relieved that he had a goal, and he's hopefully that'll propel him moving forward.
For every bottle of single barrel straight bourbon whiskey, Herman Marshall donates 15% of its revenue to the Guns and Hoses Foundation of North Texas. For those who went before, stop in to your closest goody liquor store to find your favorite bottle. All right, Sam, it's man of the match time. Who would you like to nominate as your man of the match?
I'm going to say Wyatt Johnston. I think that Robo scoring was huge, but Pete mentioned something after the game about how there were a lot of guys that started slow, not just Jason Robertson. He mentioned Johnston, he mentioned Hintz, he actually mentioned Haskin, he mentioned Harley. Yeah, okay, there he is, Captain America. But I think that it was big for these guys to start getting going, right? We just talked about Pete saying now's the time, right? You got to start producing, and he thought that a lot of those guys had some of their best games tonight, and I think that's a big step forward. And I think this team, we know the guys that need to drive lines, and we know the guys that need to drive this team. Wyatt Johnston is a massive key to this team, and I thought he was great tonight.
Luds?
I'm going with Sam Steele. I think he was in it, around it. We're seeing him grow as a player. I think after taking the hit and then having to go to protocol, coming back, didn't seem to miss a beat. And even going back to the last game, I think when things were going south and you didn't have guys that were playing at their best, we saw him out there in the last 30 seconds, minute of the game. So for me tonight, it's Sam Steele.
Can I make a quick sidebar? Kevin Ball, defenseman for the Calgary Flames. Big kid, 6'5", 6'6", I think he is. Saw him at morning skate from ice level when I went to say hi to Joel Hanley, and he is a large human. 4 penalty minutes, -5. Ooh. That's a tough round. No, or a really good one if you're in the Masters Challenge.
Former Devil.
And Rasmus Anderson, -4 tonight. So, look, it's one thing, goals are scored. On my man of the match, boy, I'm tempted to say Oscar Beck from a supporting cast role because he had 2 assists tonight. He made some nice plays. He had one play in the third period where he stripped a Flames player of the puck and then ripped one that forced a good save from Wolf. But guys, for me, and I would like to say Jason Robertson because he was, scored a big goal, had a nice secondary assist on the give-and-go goal by Hintz, which turned out to be the game winner. But it's Jakeoettinger. The first goal given up was on Oettinger of the 2 he allowed, wasn't his fault at all. It was a horrible giveaway in the first minute of the game, and it's a 2-on-1, and he has no chance to stop Huberdeau, and they're behind after 60 seconds. Some goalies could crater at that point and go get down on themselves. Oh, the first shot goes in, hasn't even touched the puck yet, and go and spiral to a bad night. Not only did he not do that, he did everything he was supposed to do. He stopped 29 of 31, as I mentioned earlier, league-leading 10th home win. Sam, he has 2 more wins at home than any other goalie in the NHL. Connor Hellebuck has 8. Jake has 10. He has been unbeatable at home, except for the one time he lost. But we're not going to talk about that one. So to me, I thought Jake Oettinger, again, Luddy said this earlier, he didn't have to make a ton of unbelievable stretching saves. He just did his job, which is stop the puck.
Yeah, and Sam, the only thing I'd add to that is of those 10 wins, he had to earn 4 or 5 of them early on in the season. Yep. And I mean earn them where he was playing above his pay grade. Because if it wasn't for what he did and until this group has kind of gotten closer to what we expect them to be, he bailed them out more than he needed to.
Do we have
he mentioned...
Go ahead, Sam.
What do we got?
No. Stay with Luds.
Yeah, he mentioned today that he's asked about why he's better at home because his numbers are better at home too, and he's usually a really good road goalie. He loves the Hockey East vibe of getting booed and things like that. But he just mentioned that he loves his fans cheering him on, and he doesn't understand why the team looks different on home ice. But I think Jake's key moments too in that early third period. I talked to a couple people up here in the press box and said, look, Stars have a chance to come out here and win a period and win a game. That hasn't happened a ton, right? It's felt like every time they go to the third period, they're either chasing a 2-goal deficit or they have a lead they're trying to hold on to. This time they had a chance. You just win 20 minutes and you win the game. And it took them about 3 or 4 minutes to get going. And Jake was big. He made 3, 4, 5, 6 saves in a row. And then the Stars went the other way. And key save, key goal. That was the key that's been missing on the road. And it happened at home. Now that's what's got to happen when they get back on the road again.
John, let's take a look at the Twitter poll of the night for Man of the Match. Our DLS fans, well, they had Thomas Harley at 34%, ahead of Robertson.
They can read a box score. They just picked who had the most goals.
I mean, he did score 2 goals, but Harley, Robertson, Johnston, and Oettinger were the choices tonight. So
can I ask how long have we been doing that?
I think we've done it 2 total times. The last one was like 2 weeks ago.
Did we have this on here before on the screen before? Or is this the first night?
First time.
I'm just wondering if I missed that.
No.
10 seconds ago.
As a matter of fact, Luds, last broadcast, we were going to do it, and then I set up John, and he forgot to screenshot it, so he didn't have the picture.
Oh, okay.
So
I just want to know if I'm just missing that stuff too.
That was a
Okay.
poll, though.
But either way, that we did that for the first time, I think. Tonight.
I'm not in the loop on a lot,
You
which,
have
which is
ideas?
totally okay with
Well,
me.
maybe you should get on our company Slack. It's
I
only
don't
been
even know
5
how
months.
to. But it's easier that way. And I don't pay attention to a lot of things you guys throw up on the screen either. So I was just
By the
checking.
way,
Will be on
Ardell is
Slack in 2
really
years.
trying to push the Sam Steel Man of Steel Superman movie as nickname, and he requests, John, a Sam Steel face graphic superimposed on Henry Cavill's Superman body.
But
mean,
does Superman have a mustache?
He does not.
Technically, in the filming of the Henry Cavill's last little go around as Superman, Cavill did have a mustache, and they had to CGI it out because he was also filming Mission Impossible Fallout at the same
And
time.
he had the mustache.
There was like contracts involved in the man's mustache. It was incredible.
Does this
So,
guy like movies, or does this guy like movies?
Useless things you
I
don't
was about
need
to say
know.
that was deep. That was I like comic books and movies. Although John, you don't read the comic books, right? Yeah, didn't I ask you that?
No, I just Wikipedia the comic books, then I watch the movies.
Well, do you know what
Cliff
Sam
Notes.
Steel Superman's kryptonite is?
Superman what?
His kryptonite.
His
A razor.
kryptonite? don't know.
It would be
Playing
Jamie
above
Benn.
the fourth
Jamie
line.
Benn,
Jamie Benn.
the freight train.
He said he forgave him after Ben helped him get that goal in the third period. He said they're all square after he ran straight into him.
Yeah, I don't think that's true. I don't think anybody's mad at Jamie Benn on their team.
Don't
No,
forget
definitely not.
that we have a regular show tomorrow
Oh, for crying out loud! Do we really?
and Tuesday
Ready, boys.
and Wednesday, and we have a game on
Tomahawk
Thursday. Do you guys remember who the Stars are playing on Thursday, lads?
No, I don't even know what time our show is.
The
tomorrow.
Nashville Predators.
It's the Preds. We thought we were going to get a Scott
Now
Wedgwood
there's a
appearance.
trap game.
We thought we were going to see the Scott
Second to
Wedgwood
last
Nashville
in the
Predators
West.
for the second time, because remember, Wedgie started the opener against the Stars. That went well for Dallas.
They're not even in the playoffs anymore. They're out.
Completely.
They are second to
They
last
are
in the West
out.
right now.
Like, they don't have a
Yeah,
chance
have you
to,
watched
to
any
pull
of
a
their
St.
games?
Louis. Oh,
You talk about that GS meter, like there's none.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about from some high money dudes there. So it's probably a bad place to be. As great as Nashville is,
And because Nashville as a team is playing so poorly, I heard that there's a speculation that that's why Steven Stamkos lost a chance to play for Team Canada, because he's not having a good season because his team's not having a good year. I'm not trying to blame Nashville or Stamkos, but you're on a good team, you get noticed.
I just wonder if the GM's going to come out of the stands and put his coaching shoes on at some point.
He
Or maybe
was a heck
it's
of a
too
coach.
far. Maybe it's too far gone. But he's a hell of a coach.
He's also
wouldn't it be interesting if it's not that happened? It hasn't happened in a long time.
He's a young GM. I think the last time it happened was
I think it
Tom Rowe in Florida. Remember, he was the GM.
I thought it was Lou.
I don't remember the last time when Lou did
Lou
that.
came down on the bench in Jersey.
It was a while ago. Because
Somebody tweet that to us. Who's the last GM to come out of the big office
see if we'll
upstairs
find
and jump
out
on the
that
bench?
for Monday. Because
There's a good question for what's it called? The Discord channel.
Discord channel, hit
There
us
you go.
up.
I ain't gonna know the answer, but
Luddy, to answer your question, our show tomorrow is at 2 p.m. And we will have Joey from the Locked On Stars podcast joining us for a segment as well. So tomorrow, 2 to 3, live on YouTube, on the audio streaming platforms right after that. We will talk Dallas Stars, maybe quarter of the way through the season, where we're at after Thanksgiving now. We did the Thanksgiving poll, but just sort of a little refresher here. As Luddy said, and I think this will be something we'll talk about on the pregame show on Thursday, 2 days off, a practice day. You've won a home game. You're really good at home, and you're playing a really bad Nashville Predators team coming out of that break. That sounds like a trap game to me.
yeah, we'll see.
I'll make sure not to ask him a question.
Just ask him
So,
about traps
Luds,
again.
I don't want Luds to yell at me, so I'm not going to ask him about a trap.
No,
game.
I want you to ask it. Ask it. This will be our finer question of the night.
Do it again.
Our what question of the night?
Any question.
I think he
No,
said
what was-
finer.
Finer.
I think he was going for final.
Yeah, either way. But you know what?
Blame
Finer,
Herman.
final.
Don't blame me. Blame Herman.
Blame the victory shot. It's time for us to end because we have to come back here and do this really early.
Oh, and you do know I got pulled over after last game, by the way.
Did you really?
Somebody
yeah.
drive Luds home.
Yeah,
How did that happen?
2 o'clock in the morning. 2 o'clock, 2:15, I think.
How
it was.
fast were you going?
I was going 53 and a 40.
Ooh, that's 13 over.
Yeah.
And
Warning.
oh, did he know who you were?
He
Mr.
had his-
Ludwig,
he had his ring on.
Mr. Ludwig, what are you doing out here this late? I said, just coming home from a Stars game is what I said. Oh, real? Oh, hang on a second.
Come on.
He came back and he goes, and then the worst thing was, as I'm sitting there and he's back at his car, another cruiser pulls up. And when two of them come, there's something on your record that isn't good.
They're worried about some trouble.
Yeah. And I even said to him, I said, what's he here for? Because when he came back up, he goes, oh, no, we do that out
Little
here.
backup?
Well, it's late in the morning or something.
Well, at 2 a.m.
Anyway, all's well that ends well.
Look at
Why
that.
don't we go the whole
Luds get-
game with him just telling us that now?
What time?
Luds gets off on going 13 over the speed limit. I got a ticket for going 6 over the speed limit, and it was like $100.
Yeah,
I have not won. I have not won a Stanley Cup.
they came up to the window and they thought it was the 7-year-old driving. I mean, they were wondering what's going on.
I tried to tell them about my great play in the alumni skate a couple weeks ago, and they wouldn't give me any warnings.
On the wall. Luds, the wall.
Talik Lizzie says,
Then he chipped it out. Nobody around him.
pulled over going to Whataburger.
And then he changed. He's to make sure he got no minus.
Yeah, was that when you were
Gotta
going to Whataburger?
got to dump and change.
Let's-
No, I was going to the other place with the tacos.
Oh, he goes for the Jack in
Jack
the
Jack in the
Box.
Box.
late night
I just
tacos.
noticed on the way here today, there's one right up here
Oh,
off
is-
of
are you going
183
there
and
tonight?
35. I think I'm going to stop there on the way back.
There you go. Bloody and his
I'll meet
fast
you there,
food
Luds.
after the Stars post-game show. I love it. So, for that...
So if we went over tonight, do we get to go short tomorrow?
It doesn't work that way.
Is that the way it works?
Nope.
No?
I wish it did. Otherwise, we could do a long one.
Told
just
me
not-
that earlier.
Yeah, if that was the case, we'd just do an extra hour and not show up tomorrow.
That's where I was going with it.
It's not going to work that way.
Owen and John are matching today.
And I'm just trying to leave. John, it looks
Okay,
like a
bye.
different color to me.
It looks, I mean, I'm colorblind, so I'm not reliable here. And this is like one of the culprits, but they are definitely not the same color.
Yeah, I've had a few too many Herman.
I
Marks.
think
Wow,
Let's get out
Sam's
of here.
shirt
Matching
looks more
with
like
us too.
John's
Wow,
shirt to
Sam.
me.
Hey, John,
Yes.
say goodnight.
Well, I'm not the host.
All right. For Luds, for Sam, for John, I'm Owen. We'll see you tomorrow.
Good
Stars
night.
win.
Dog City.
Oops, that's game time.
We all silly like the mayor.